I'm here with Ivan Bell, IBS Septic. How long have you guys been in business?
It's our 35th year.
35 years. And tell me about the beginning. Were you working for somebody else and then decided to go out and you're like, how did it all start?
I did a couple years at SUNY Adirondack, worked 3 or 4 jobs before I went to work for myself. And I started doing excavating for another contractor, and I bought a loader because I started snow plowing, and it snowballed from the loader to a backhoe, and I just kept rolling. Like, part of the secret really is you got to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
You're going to work harder for something you really love doing. That's what I do tell a lot of the young folks. I mean, a lot of people are just like telling them, you got to work hard, you got to work hard. You're better off telling them, listen, find what you got the passion for, and all that you are is going to come out in that. Like, you got to have a love for it. Like, I love my customers. I love what I'm doing. I love serving them. I fully believe we were all put in this earth to serve. If you're doing that, if your heart is in what you do, you're just going to take right off. And the other thing I try to tell these young businessmen is every single day, what I do really is I strive to be a better version. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's definitely, I pray for that every morning, just to be a better Ivan than I was the day before. It's not going to seem like much in a day, in a week. 6 months, you're going to start seeing a difference. In a year, it's going to be huge. In 5 years, really huge. And it can be little increments, but that's the big secret to business is every single day when you get up, try to be a better version of yourself than you were the day before, and it'll just keep snowballing. It'll start out small. And the other thing about being in business for a long time, too, as you know, after you've been through all kinds of life experiences, you realize that nobody knows the way. You know what you're going to accomplish, and you just go forward into it, and that way comes your way. You just go with it. You don't fear anything because you've been through it. Yeah. No matter what obstacle comes in front of you, if you don't give up, you're going to get it. It's going to happen. You're going to look back at it and go, man, I don't know how I did that, but I did. So when the next obstacle comes up, you're because adversity is part of life. There's no getting out of that. Like, if you think it's going to be smooth sailing, it's never. I met an old guy in business when I first started out. I went over to his place of business. This guy's got a massive shop. He's got all kinds of trucks and equipment, and he was a farmer, and his farm wasn't doing so hot, and the local excavator was going out of business, and he was retiring, so he said I bought out his accounts and his old truck and started out on my own, and he built up this huge business. And I said to the old guy, I go, someday I'd like to be like you. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I'd like to be like you. And it's not about the money. I said, I'd just like not to have to worry all the time. And the old guy starts laughing at me, and he looks at me and he goes, that'll never happen. Yeah. Doesn't matter how big you get. You got to just keep fighting every single day. Yeah. But after a while, you learn to live in contentment. All those things are going to come at you. And for me now, that's just life, and I do it. And I encourage these younger business people, just keep going with it. You know, I mean, obviously knowledge is accrued over time, and you're going to learn a lot. When you go back to the same problem, yep, I've done that before, I'm good. And if it's for you, again, if you got the passion for it and you like serving people, you're going to do great. I don't care what the business is.
Yeah. Tell me, I'm really interested in, because I love hearing the stories of how things happen. So you said, you bought a loader, then you bought an excavator. When was it when you got the excavator, that's where you started digging septic systems? Is that like, did the job present itself first and you went and bought the excavator, or did you just happen to have it and someone was like, hey, can you dig it?
I bought the loader first, and then I bought a backhoe, because back then that's what everybody bought. Mm-hmm. Nobody had excavators.
Gotcha.
And I had the backhoe to move snow, and then I started looking for digging jobs. And I mean, I was digging everything: cellars, septics, water lines, electrical lines. And if you show yourself to be dependable and you're there when people need you and you do a good job, because the other truth about it is every single job you do is a story. That's the way you got to look at it. It's either going to be a good story or a bad story. If you make all these good stories, like you're there when you say you're going to be, give them a little more than they anticipated, clean up, be fair with them, they're going to tell that story to somebody else, and that's exactly how it happened. And then that person calls you up, hey, you did a job for my friend, you did a great job, I seen what you did, and you come over and give me an estimate, and then that person tells another person. And I mean, if you were running a restaurant, you start out from the bottom. Even doesn't have to be my business. I come in, I eat, I love it. I'm going to tell you about it. Hey, Mike, that guy was great. The service was good. It's a pizzeria, best pizza I've probably ever had. You're going to go in, then you're going to tell somebody else. But you got to keep that consistency up too. So at the beginning, I had old equipment, old dump trucks, stuff I could pay for, and I just kept getting up every day. I'd work 7 days a week back then, and it just kept building and building. Like I said, every day I'd try to be a little bit better version of the guy the day before, and I always made sure I cleaned up good and did everything I said I would. And if anything went wrong, to this day, if a guy makes a mistake, we're going to go back and make it right away.
I think that's huge, man. We talk about it all the time, and anything that we do, I always say that we stand behind everything that we do. So if something goes wrong, even if it's not my fault, it was our job, it went wrong, we own it, got to make it right.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to make sure that when it's all said and done with, you've done everything you possibly can to.
You're building a brand like I am.
Yep.
People know that if they hire my company, it's going to get done. It's going to get done right. If there's an issue, I'm going to make it right.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about the growth aspect, about when you were, it was just you at first, working 7 days a week.
Yep.
And how many employees do you have now?
We're a little over 20 employees.
Okay. How do you make the transition from you 7 days a week to the first hire or the first 5 or whatever it was?
First hire I ever had was best employee I've ever had in my life, and I say that he was there when I really needed him.
Yeah.
Great man. He still does good. We were childhood friends.
He still works with you?
Nope. Oh. He moved on to other stuff, did real good in life. That's the other thing. I mean, if somebody works for me and they move on, I'm happy for them. I root for them. I'm still friends with them. I'll still help them. Part of being in business, too, once you start getting employees, is you do your best to make their lives good. You do the best so they can have a good living. If you want to hire, your best employees are going to be family people because they're going to work hard to provide for their families. In turn, when they have a family issue, you remember that. They got a sick kid, they're having a baby, no matter what happens, no matter how busy we are, whatever, if you need a day off, you're off. If something happens, leave. We'll make it happen. We've always gotten through all of it. But the toughest transition is going from doing the work to leading a company, because leading a company is a whole different thing than doing the work. You can be great at doing the work, but you might not necessarily be a great leader.
And the business aspect is a lot different than just doing it, right? We see that a lot with people where they were a great operator, right? Or whatever it was, right? Whatever they were a great chef, or they were a great massage therapist, or they were great whatever. And then they try to turn it into a business, and that's a tough corner to turn sometimes.
Well, the other secret to that really is you can't be afraid to hire people that are smarter than you. Definitely when you go to your accountant, you want somebody that's good. You want a good attorney. You get somebody, once you get to the point where you got people in your office, they're going to be way smarter than me at QuickBooks and all kinds of business things. You don't have to be the smartest at everything. Nobody is. Right. Nobody's an expert at everything. So you want to put people working for you that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
That's the big secret. You got to have them underneath you to be able to expand and get bigger, because you'll hit a point where you can't do it alone.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the biggest challenge you ever faced as a business owner was?
Oh God! I mean, when I was a young business owner, I had 3 children. Probably the hardest thing I had to do was be able to balance family life and work. Yeah. I mean, I was a Little League president. I coached from T-ball all the way to I coached school ball, I coached travel ball. I remember back when the kids were little, I would leave work around 3:30, 4 o'clock, go over, rake and stripe the fields, play my game, take the kids home and go back to work to make up for the time I missed. I lost a lot of sleep, but it was worth it. You got to keep that life balance up. Your family's got to be first. Then you're living, and then everybody else comes underneath it. I mean, and my friends were always cool about it. They knew that the reason I couldn't go to the picnic or go to a ball game with them or go fishing was I had work and family.
Yeah. You got to set your priorities.
And that is the hardest thing about business when you're a family man. But I think a family man makes a great businessman because you understand what your customers are going through.
Mm-hmm. What, do any of them work with you now? They're all adults now, right? I assume.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a niece working for me, a son-in-law, and a nephew.
Okay. All right.
My kids do their own thing. I mean, that's one thing I never did. I never pushed it. I didn't put and son on everything when the kids were 3. Again, the part of it is finding what you're passionate about, and your kids aren't necessarily going to be passionate about the same thing you are. And I've always fully supported them in anything they wanted to do. I got one that's an RN, one that's a Class A CDL driver, and another kid right now she's a homemaker. She's got photography under her belt.
Nice.
She's a hairdresser, but she's got 4 children, and she puts most of her time into being a homemaker, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome.
But I would never have pushed them to work with me.
Homemaker is one of the toughest jobs in the world, man.
God, yeah. Oh. Yeah, no, I obviously I try to mentor all my employees. If I got the younger ones that, if they come to me and are having family problems or whatnot, any way I can help them and share whatever mistakes I've made to try to make their life better. And again, I always make sure that if their family has an issue, leave.
Yeah.
Call me, your kid's sick, something happens, go. There's no pressure on you.
No pressure.
I've had employees over the years go through all kinds of things. Family members with cancer and parents dying, but you gotta have a heart for them too. You gotta love your employees. You gotta love your customers. I mean, at the end of the day, I think everything good comes from love. Like if I go to your house and you're having a problem, I do care about you. I care about what's going to happen. I care about what kind of work we're going to do. I care about what kind of mess is going to be left at your home. I care that, we're courteous when we're in there. You got to. If it's just about money, you'll never make it.
Yeah.
It can't be just money driven. If I have something done, all I care is that you do what you tell me you're going to do. You do it right. I'll gladly pay you. I've got no issues with that. I think that's the hard part to find today.
Yeah. Yeah. The labor force is definitely a challenge for a lot of people. But I agree with that. I think a lot of it comes down to is, being, whether it's, mission driven or purpose driven or the why you're doing it, definitely helps to not just be about money. I know that was a big change for me the last few years was, forever and a day, I'm so focused on, I just want to make my, my whatever amount of money each year. And it's hard to feel fulfilled when you're so focused on money. And as soon as you make it about something else,
and the money will come.
Yeah.
That's mathematics. I mean, if you're selling cherry pies and it costs you $5 to make them, you can't sell them for 4.
Right.
And I understand that. It's a good cherry pie. I'll give you 10. It's good. Awesome. But you still got to care about how they're made, consistency. You've seen a lot of the good businessmen in the area. One guy, he's younger than me, but he's like probably in the middle of the pack there. He's been around quite a while now, is the fellow that runs I Love New York Pizza. That dude's there all the time. He's committed. His consistency's unbelievable. Like from the first time I went in and I've been going there for years now, everything is exactly the way it was. Like the pizza size is the same. His sauce is phenomenal. I watch him with his people. He cares about them. That guy, that's what it takes to make it in business. Yeah. I can spot that a mile away. And if I have a young guy come to me, I do try to mentor him. That's our next generation. That's what we should be showing them.
Yeah.
We should be mentoring them not only in business, but we can help them with their family stuff. Yeah, and that's the other thing I tell the young guys. You got to keep that balance up with your family. And you'll make it. Like you'll think to yourself, I don't know, even now looking back, I don't know how I did what I did and still kept working. But I did it. I spent the time. We played travel ball in the summer, all-stars. Whatever time I took away, I gave back at a different point, and it all worked out.
Yeah. I definitely, Derek Foster, our visionary founder of Blue Collar Startup, and co-host typically, couldn't be here today, but I know him and I talk about it all the time where it's like, you work and then it's like, all right, my kid's got this or my kid's got that. So I'm going to go do that with them. And I'm going to come back and I know that I'm going to be on my laptop from 8 p.m. until 1 a.m., catching up on the stuff I didn't get to while I was doing that. And, but it's just so important to be there for that stuff. So
Oh, it's huge. The big thing to remember always is you can spend money and go back to work tomorrow and you're going to make it back.
Yeah.
But every bit of time you spend, you never get back.
that's it.
That's the most valuable commodity we all have is time. Once you spend it, it's not coming back again.
Mm-hmm.
So the time with your children is well worth it because those days don't come back.
No, and they go quick.
Yeah, and you can make it. You can do self-employment and have a family and, but you make the family a priority, then you're living and everything else comes underneath it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it with my friends. If I call one of them to go do something and they got something going, their kid's got a baseball game, I'm going to be like, yeah, go. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
don't worry about me.
Yeah. So tell me about, you had said earlier, the difference between, doing the work and then leading the team. What was that transition like? How did you know when it was time for you to take yourself out of day-to-day stuff and really focus just on leading the business?
We got to the point where I really needed to oversee everything because one thing I didn't want to sacrifice was quality.
Mm-hmm.
When you're training a new employee, they're going to take longer to do things and the company's going to eat the price on it. You're not going to charge your customer for that, but you got to be overseeing it. And of course, I could have been out on one job site doing things and I'm going to get them done quicker and better, but I needed to be overseeing everything to make sure that the same quality I had starting out, we still have. It's huge. And that things are scheduled properly and supplies are there when they need them. And we put, a lot of training in, a lot. But I will never sacrifice that. I mean, I want to make sure before they ever set foot in your doorstep, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it comes to you, too. Like I said, one thing, no matter what you do in life, nobody really knows how they're going to get it done.
Yeah.
You just got that drive and passion to do it, and you get in it, and it happens. Your way comes to you. If you sit back and wait till you figure out how to do it, you're never going to do it. If you're like 50% there, you just go, and you'll get it. Always. That'll always happen.
Just take action.
Yeah. And the leadership. I mean, I had a lot of good mentors out there. There's a lot of the older businessmen before me that were willing to show me the ropes. I bought all my tires from Wayne Kellogg at Warren Tire Forever. And if you're respectful and you treat that dude right, I mean, he's shown me a lot of things. He's a very intelligent businessman, and he's not afraid to come show you stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously built one hell of a business here locally.
Yep. Yeah. Son's an awesome guy. But I had a lot of guys like him out there that were willing to show me ropes and show me things. And
Yeah.
so I try to give that back too, though.
Yeah. Keep passing it on, right?
Absolutely.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so what do you think? From a secret to your success, or like we talked about the biggest challenge, right? But like, what do you think are the things that really helped you be successful with your business?
Like I said a few minutes ago there,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to love what you're doing. You got to care about your customers. You got to care about your employees. I mean, that's the big secret to success. And if every day you just keep trying to be a better version than you were the day before, it doesn't seem like much, but over the course of time, it just grows and grows and grows and grows. That's how these guys do it. That's how they made it. They were very particular about how things were done and made sure they were done right. And that's the difference between making it and not making it. I mean, you got to care.
Now you said something earlier that I actually wanted to jump back on. Because I think a lot of young business owners, not young age-wise, but just they're new to their business, and maybe they're 50 or maybe they're 20, but they're only in the first couple of years or maybe first year of their business, and in the beginning you're trying to be everything to everyone, right? And so like you had said, like, hey, I was digging wherever they'd let me put my backhoe, right? Like I'll dig a basement, I'll dig a septic, I'll dig a trench. You just tell me where you want me to dig, and I'll do it. At some point, though, you really turned your focus and really focus in on the septic side of things, right? And on that industry specifically. What was it that made you decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna stop digging foundations. I'm gonna stop digging. I'm gonna focus right here on septic systems and that side of the business. What was it that
Yeah, that's where my passion lied. I mean, we do more than that. I'm a licensed master plumber. We do drain work. We do portable toilets. We do a lot of different stuff
But it's all connected
to that industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was where my passion lied. It's like I use him for an example, and I know it wouldn't care. Paul at I Love New York. That's where his passion lies.
Yeah.
He's got it going on. He focused right in on that, and man, he's one of the ones I look at, and I'd love to see guys like him come into the area because I've been around since that guy first came here and started his thing, and you just see it blossoming and doing better because he's got a love for it. I've seen it with some of the landscapers out there. I love seeing people succeed. I love it.
Yeah. When do you think it was, because I know that I have suffered this in my career. I know I see a lot of young business owners deal with someone's willing to pay to do something. I'm going to say yes, right? So was there any event or was there anything that told you like, hey, now I can start saying no to foundations. I don't want to do that work anymore. Like when do you know, or when would someone know that it's the right time to start focusing away from one thing that you're able to do and really turning towards another?
You just got to keep building up that clientele and making those stories good. Like I said, if you look at every single job you do as a story, you make those stories good stories, you'll get enough in that one avenue to support yourself with it.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you're going to have to do a lot of things. I mean, I had a motor go. I bought a truck. I built it myself. Bought the cabin chassis, built the truck. I bought it from Dave Moynihan at Riverside Gas and Oil. It was a nice truck. He had the motor completely rebuilt before I bought it. The bolts and the oil pump backed out inside the oil pan, blew the motor up. I ran out. I bought a motor. I took a couple days off work because back then I had to do everything myself. Get the motor in it, get it going. It would use 8 quarts of oil to drive from Glens Falls to Argyle. The motor I put in was bad. I found another motor. I finished up work one evening at 5 o'clock. Me and my one hired guy, we pulled the motor out of the truck, put the motor back in the truck, and we were washing our hands at 8 a.m., cleaned up, got back in the truck, and ran out back to work.
And back to work, yeah.
Yeah, that's just what you do when you're starting out.
Yeah.
You just keep rolling, whether it's landscaping.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the business is. I mean, there's a restaurant guy. I mean, I've seen guys sleep in the back of the restaurant. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, the fellow we were just talking about, Andy Frisella, slept in the back of the vitamin store.
Yeah.
That's what he did when he had to get started. I mean, there's a ton of stories out there like that. Wayne Kellogg, I remember years ago, he had a store in Argyle. And again, I was working 7 days a week. I'm going past his Argyle store at like 5:36. It just got daylight, and he's in front of that store on a Sunday morning picking cigarette butts out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
So I'd look at guys like him and kind of watch them and try to, it wasn't the same industry, but I still followed what guys like him did.
Yeah. Work hard, attention to detail.
Yeah, no, he's great. Like, it's rare that Warren Tire ever has an issue, and God, if they do, bang, they're faster to fix the issue than they were to do the problem to begin with.
I think I've been using those guys for 20 years.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, their employees are great.
Yeah.
You get
Service
treated gold
great.
when you're there.
I don't think I've ever once in 20 years had a complaint about the service I've gotten from those guys.
Nope, they're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you watch them. If you're a good person and people can see that you're trying, I've had just countless number of the old timers that would help me. There used to be a company called Citywide Trucking. It was an old guy named Dom Leo. I mean, that dude threw me a lot of bones, helped me with stuff. I don't know if you remember Bill Threw when he was around.
That name sounds familiar.
He was an excavator. He told me different stuff and showed me stuff. Dick Emerson. You remember Dick Emerson? Epic Ventures. Tom O'Neill. Those guys helped me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good guys in the generation before me that were more than glad to come out and help you.
Yeah.
And you listen.
Hopefully you do. If you're smart, you do.
If I wanted to bake a chocolate cake, if you had a chocolate cake, I'm at your house and I eat it, I really like it. I'm like, geez, Mike, I'd like to make a chocolate cake like yours. If you give me that recipe and I do exactly what you do, it's going to be the same cake. So I talked to a guy like Wayne Kellogg, and he was more than happy to tell me, Ivan, I did this, I did that. You follow what those guys are telling you, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Sage advice.
And I guess I still to this day love a challenge. I got just as much drive and energy as I had when I was younger. I love it.
Do you think that's like a prerequisite for not even just a blue collar entrepreneur, but really any would be business owner or entrepreneur, that you really need to love the challenges?
100%.
Right?
Yes.
Like you got to really look for the adversity and hope that it comes.
Well, no, it will come. Like I tell these guys, it's gonna. I mean, that old guy years ago in Vermont that I met, when I said to him, I want to be like you, where I don't have to worry. The second that come out of me, now I get it. He had a huge grin on his face, and let me tell you something, boy, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that way. It's going to be bigger problems, not little ones like you're facing now. But he lived in contentment. He knew that he had faced all these adversities, and he's going to make it through them. You don't. Once you get to that point, you're not going to be shaken.
Right.
And it's all good. You know what's coming. If anything happens, if one of my guys getting a fender bender, my first words out of my mouth is, everybody okay? I'm fine. I mean, as long as nobody gets hurt, I'm good. Like, it's a vehicle, it's metal, it'll get fixed. That's life. And your guys are going to make mistakes. If you got a guy or girl that's been with you any length of time and they never made a mistake, that's questionable. I make mistakes and I own them. And I'm humble enough to tell the guys, I messed up. This is my fault. I wouldn't blame it on one of my employees, and I got no problem. If I make a mistake with a customer, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm sorry, Mike, but I'll be honest with you. I didn't write it down, and I forgot to do it, but this is what I'll do to make it right.
Yeah.
You got to be humble. That's huge.
Do you think that helps with like employee retention?
Absolutely. Yeah. You want to be respected. I wouldn't work for a guy that didn't respect me, didn't treat me right. And if you got a problem with an employee, you don't publicly embarrass them. You sit down and talk to them.
Yeah.
And if it's something really bad, your best bet is to tell them, go on back to work. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Tension's down. Things are calmed, because you got to make sure they understand. But they're human. Like, that's the way it is. They're going to make mistakes.
Going to make mistakes.
And customers understand that. Good people know. I mean, I've had people do stuff for me and make a mistake, and I don't get upset over it. You call me up, tell me the truth. I've had suppliers not order something. But as long as they call me up and say, hey, Ivan, it's on me. I didn't order it. I'm not going to get angry over it. All right, what can we do? When can you get it? Well, I got it overnighted for you. We'll have it here. Okay, I'm going to call my customer and tell them the part isn't here. And sorry, but it's going to be another day. And I might have to do something to get them by till then, but that's all I expect.
So 35 years, you said, right?
Yep.
You've been in business. How long will you take it? Like, what
This is my opinion about life. I think, honestly, I do not believe that human beings were put on this earth to retire. Not to get down that subject, but ain't nowhere in the Bible that ever says that we're supposed to stop.
Right.
The healthiest guys I know, my precast supplier, his name is Bob Liebig. He's got Utopia Precast, hit 95 March 30th. Still works 5 days a week. Still got drive, still got spirit. I believe that we need something every day to feed that spirit in us. Like, we need to do that. The healthiest people I know keep going. I work around Tom Flaherty. He runs a consulting business. He used to run the Queensbury Water Department. He's 87. He's still working every day. Yeah. Looks amazing. He's happy. You
got to occupy your time doing something, right? Like
most of the, especially guys I know, when they retire, whether it's a week, a month, 6 months, they're not happy.
Yeah.
You need something to feed you. If you're not going to work, you need to go find something. Philanthropy, helping your kids. But I enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah.
And the knowledge I can keep passing on.
So you're going to keep going.
Well, again, you look at those guys like Wayne Kellogg's always around down there.
Yeah.
That Bob Liebig at 95 years old, he's still sharp.
Yeah. I ask because I've had a lot of conversations recently with people about some of them like clients that are in the industry doing exit planning, and the other conversation that we're having a lot is that there's just a lot of blue collar businesses out there that don't have succession plans, and it's a lot of people that are in their they're in their later 50s, maybe 60s, and they're getting close to retirement age and they really aren't sure what to do with the business, or so that's my question now. Is I'm just wondering, I'm like, what's everybody doing with their business? What's their plan right now? And Keep going.
Yeah, my plan is to keep on going.
There it is. That's a good plan.
I love what I do. I wouldn't be happy doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's just not who I am.
I say the same thing all the time too. Because I do a lot, right? We've got multiple businesses, launching a brewery, got the farm, the animals, the kids, like all the stuff. And people, they're like, wow, I just don't know how you do it. And I'm like, well, you got to spend your time doing something. And I'm not a guy that's going to spend 8 hours on the couch watching Netflix or whatever it is. I'm not, I'm not a guy that's going to sit around. So I occupy my time with all the stuff that I do.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love it. I don't think I would want it any other way than to be busy all the time. So
absolutely. You know yourself, especially as you get older. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely live a life in contentment. I grew up extremely poor, so I don't expect a lot out of life. I expect to get what I put into it, and I'm good with that. When we were a kid, we never saw a hamburger bun or a hot dog bun. We had bread for everything, powdered milk, hamburger helper, but I'm happy with the simple things in life.
Yeah, for sure. If you were going to say one thing to someone listening, right, about it could really be anything, but just one thing, one piece of advice that you would give a potential blue collar business owner out there, what would it be?
I guess the big thing that I would tell them is no matter what the adversity is, you're going to make it through it. Don't let it get to you. Do what you can do every single day. Go home, get a night's rest, get up the next day, and just keep going. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And again, you got to care about your customers. You got to care what kind of products or services you're giving them. Once you get to the point where you got to have employees, you got to care about them too. That's the big secret. It's not all about money. The money's mathematics. Again, if you know you got $5 in this product, you can't sell it for $4. Mm-hmm. And people expect that. They're okay with that. It's just you really got to care and don't lose the faith. You just keep going.
Keep going. Love it. If people want to get a hold of IBS Septic or learn more about it, where do they find you guys?
We got a website. It's right under IBS Septic. And our phone number is 518-798-8194. Same number we've had for 30 years. Or 35 years. And again, I would encourage anybody that just even wanted to call me for advice, call me. Yeah. I don't have to make money off everything we do. I would gladly walk somebody through it. Not a problem.
That's awesome.
They want to just call and ask questions, or they're welcome for it. The guys are all good about it. The girls in the office are great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time coming to sit with me, man.
Yeah, no, I've got a passion for helping new young business people. I love it. Like I said, I'm the guy that roots for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's plenty of opportunity.
We're all winning, right?
That's what the whole country needs right now. Mm-hmm. We got to be more that way.
I agree, 100%. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Check us out at bluecollarstartup.io. Don't forget that we've got the Blue Collar Blueprint, which is business owners, managers, people in all different industries, not just blue collars, but talking about different aspects of business, whether it's marketing, sales, finance, operations. So check it out. It's free membership for you guys and girls. So don't be afraid. Talk to you soon. Thanks.